He's been working for Agnihotra for healing the atmosphere and equilibrium of the mind. Well, let's listen to, with great pleasure, to the scientific perspectives of Agnihotra. I think he's focusing on Agnihotra, Vedic techniques for healing, holistic health, and happiness. Retired Colonel Madan Deshpande, please, the floor is all yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Acharya Brahmdev. I am grateful to Professor Ravi Prakash Arya for arranging this very, very important conference. And I'll just start with a prayer. Yajnadana tapah karma swadhyaya nirato bhavet esha eva hi shrutyuktaha satya dharma sanatanaha. Talking about Agnihotra is very, very timely because we, the humanity all over the world, have taken this universe in the jaws of death. There's a pollution around, everything out of the Panchabhutas, what they call it, all the four are polluted. Prithvi, Aap, Vayu, Akash. What is left is the fire. And this agency of fire might help rescue this humanity from the catastrophe that we are ourselves brought in by insulting the environment, by going against the laws. And the first laws, or I would say the ancient most laws, or the constitution for humanity, they say that initially the God created the universe, then created a cow, then created the yajna, and then he created to human being to perform this yajna. This is the order. This is so important about yajna. So with this all chaos around, if we go back, most scientific solutions are also not available today as a package, available and economical, affordable to all, so that they are saved from this vagaries we have created. Now what can we do? If we can't go ahead, we go back. When we go back, we go to the ancient most storehouse of knowledge that is known as Vedas. Vedas do not belong to any formal religion. Let me make a very bold statement. The very meaning of Vedas is Vidvis knowledge. It's a pure knowledge. And this knowledge belongs to people who seek knowledge, who want to have knowledge, and want to walk on the path of knowledge. And this walking on the path of knowledge is also known as Devayana. Now, when you talk about all this, we definitely, today's context of the conference is Agnihotra. There are various forms of yajnas, as mentioned by previous speaker and by many, and they are the Nitya Yajna, that is Agnihotra, is essential, it's been called to be essential because this is a karma, important karma. Second comes the Kamya Yajna, which is supposed to be considered a very inferior type of yajna because you are desiring something, you want to get something good, or whatever it is, Then comes the seasonal yajnas, what they call is Naimittik yajnas, like Soma Yaga, Vajpayee Yaga, and other things. So of all this, let us concentrate ourselves today into the Agnihotra. Agnihotra has been described, Vedas is there are so many meanings of Veda people can derive. More intelligent people they agree to disagree with each other. That is a sort of a recognition of how intelligent you are. But one has to go to the Lakshartha, Vachartha, Garvitartha. There are so many meanings of Vedas, and we have, Madam has told that the very basic aim of knowledge or dharma is yato abhyudaya nishreyasa siddhisa dharma. By following that, we should do two things. One, prosperity, which everybody wants to seek it, for stability, for living, good life. And second thing, while doing so, you would like to aim for the spirituality, attainment in spirituality, nishreyasa prapti. You have to get detached from everything and attain that nishreyasa prapti. And who can give this both? This both can be achieved by following a simple solution which God gave us in the beginning of Vedas. And the first Veda, what we call Rig Veda. In fact, there is not a first or second Veda. It has been, Vyasa has moved into 4, which is the knowledge. In that knowledge, the very first sukta is known as Agni Sukta. In fact, that storehouse of knowledge is very heartening to know that it starts with the word Agni. Agni Mile Purohitam. The very meaning is, Ile means Prarthana, Upasana. If you do Upasana of Agni, what it will do? It will take you to the leading. It will lead you, Purohitam. Then what happens in the same Sukta, it is said, timings are given. When to do it? Upatvagne dive dive dosha vistar dhyavaya. It is not to be done once in a lifetime, once on a week time, once in an occasional time. It is a dive dive. It has to be done daily. And at the same time, it says that time is given, dosha vistar. That is the sunset and sunrise. It has to be done daily. So it is very much there. Only thing we have to find it. Like a treasure, we go on hunting the treasure, we don't find it. But one who has a knowledge of it, he directly hits it. So it is like that. Then we go. Then we come to timings. Also, Vedas says, there's a very verse in Vedas. It says that Sayam Sayam Grharpatirno Agnihi Prata Prata Somanasasya Data. If you do in the evening at sunset, Agnihotra, what you are going to get? Somanasasya Data. The equilibrium of mind. Equilibrium of mind can come only when you are healthy, when you have means to live, when you are spiritually attuned. And this supreme state of mind can be achieved by doing a simple sort of a solution. What is required is a need of the hour, is an authentic way of life. There are so many things in the market, or the spiritual market, if you go, there are so many things available. But what we need is the most authentic, knowledgeable. It should be holistic in its approach, should be acceptable to all, and whole universe should follow it, and it should be successfully tried in the past. It should be very simple, very easy to adapt. It should be very, very not very costly, and even an uneducated person also should be able to do it. Then it should encompass material and spiritual aspects. I think this is an overall need assessment for doing Agnihotra. Then what is happiness? One, it is beautiful, like happiness we call in English. In Hindi we call, and Sanskrit we call, one word you find in all Indian languages, it is known by same thing. If you see the water, somebody says water, somebody says pani, somebody says niru, somebody says nilu, somebody says jal. But sukha is a one word you'll find in all languages, including Kashmiri, it is called as sukha. Why it is called so sukha? Because it should denote or connote an exact meaning. The very word, the meaning of sukha is, su means good, kha means atmosphere. And one which creates good atmosphere is going to make you happy. And that is what is Agnihotra. It starts a virtuous cycle. It gives harmony. It sets the biorhythms of the body. We'll come to that. This is what we do. Then another thing, while talking about Indian languages, I would call it that when a guest comes to house, we don't tell him that you have 108 morsels. We say, do niwale kha ke jao. Same thing we say in Telugu. Same thing we say in Tamil, Yadutattu, in Kannada, or same, any language you take it. We never say that you have only many. We say only 2. Why this 2? We know that eating 2 morsels is not going to satisfy your hunger. We also know that we are not a miser to only offer 2, but we always say 2 because whatever rule is for the dharma, same rules for the human being. Because we have been offering this 2 into the fire. Then this is actually Gajanan Maharaj Akkalkot, who gave this Agnihotra, this is Shivapuri, Yajnanagar. Then now when we do Agnihotra, you are doing 5 things, in fact. Like it's not a ritual, simple ritual. Maybe apparently it looks like a ritual. You can analyze it, you can see it, you can do a lot of experiments in it. But beyond that, there are 5 basic core elements into it. You open any religious book, and these 5 principles are there. You can pinpoint with your own finger. These are the satya. You find yajna, that is for purification, maybe in any form. It may be candle, it may be diya, it may be Agnihotra, it may be yajna, but it's there. Then comes the dana. There's no religion which would say that don't share assets or don't give dan. Dan is there, the words are different. Somebody may say zakat, somebody may say some other word, sharing assets. Then comes the tapa. Tapa is meditation, you can call it in simple words, and it's a body, mind, and intellect. There's need to do tapa of intellect also, because thereby, when ahankara comes in with the tapa, and you go on construing different meanings of what suits you. So there has to be restraint of one's own intellect also. Then comes the karma. Madam has beautifully said, last speaker, that yajno hi sreshtadam karma. And comes swadhyaya. When we say idanna mama, it is not mine, that who you are, that study starts. So Agnihotra is not simple ritual, it is a combination of core elements of the universal, you can call it dharma. Then it has to be performed sunrise, sunset time. If you talk in science now, there's nothing like sunrise or sunset. The first ray of light falling on the planet, we call it as a sunrise, and the last ray recedes, we call it sunset. But due to the movement of the earth and this thing, what we call, is farthest away, that point is farthest away from the sun. That's why there is cosmic disturbance in the atmosphere, and that's the reason Vedas knew it. So they are given this Agnihotra at that time to do it, so that it sets your equilibrium and biorhythms are set. And what you need is a semi-pyramid copper, because this is a 51.2 angle it has got, and it represents Bhu Bhuva Swa, 3 steps, because effect has gone to be into the 3 realms. At the same time, it has to be why copper? Because it's a good conductor. Then it has to be cow dung cakes. Now there has been a doubt among people's mind: does Veda prescribe the cow dung cakes? That references you can find in Khira Sukta. People commonly do this when they do the worship of God. There's Gandhadwara Duradarsham Nitya Pushtam Karishinim. Karishini is a cow dung cake. And it is so important, they say, that it is Nitya Pushta Karne Wali hai. Now that means it is going to enrich you, it's going to help you, and it's going to create the Sugandha, that is the essence of good atmosphere into the atmosphere. So this is how it is there. Then second reference we get in Valmiki's Ramayana, very old ancient sort of a thing, where when Hanuman was to find out her, Sita is to do Agnihotra also, and there she says Shakamaya Dhuma Arada Pasha. There are many references you can get. It's not my field. I learned it from people, intelligent people, learned people like you. Then it has to be 2 offerings of rice and cow ghee. Cow ghee has got its own properties, rice has got its own properties, and 2 mantras. Simple. Now, no religious nonsense. Anybody can do it. Ladies can do it. It can be done in a home, garden, office, farm. Because basically I'm doing this for a sukha, for my happiness, to clean the atmosphere. As a thanksgiving to God and nature, because I'm taking all energies from the God and I'm not giving anything back. And secondly, there is known method to cleanse inside, antaranga. And Agnihotra is the only one which cleanses your outside as well as inside. And unless we have inside clean, you cannot surrender to that Almighty God, whatever you can call it, by any name. Then the biorhythm and corresponding sunrise sunsets are very important. And you said in the pranic talk, what they say that at the time of sunrise, the pores of the skin open up. So whatever we do may be small, it doesn't matter. But that small, they just say that Gita says, Swalpa alpasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. You don't have to do a very big ritual. If the small things done regularly, it is so as king of yajnas. Rajantam adhuranam gopavartasya. It is said that if you do it daily, it becomes the best of the one. Then I will go to science more. Then is a purifying, healing. It goes. It sets the mind, harmonizes the function of the prana and life energy, because prana and atmosphere are very, very important, because from the same. If the prana is this atmosphere is clean, you can also clean prana easily. It doesn't take much time. You can go into the trance or whatever you call it. It relaxes the mind and body. That Agnihotra gives sort of the alpha energy of the brain, alpha activity, and the delta depression happens, and that is known as a samadhi state. And that happened to the people who did not know what was being done in the room. Whereas when we had alternatively, when we burned fire and some mantra we uttered some same words, nothing happened. These are the two mantras we call it. Morning Suryaya Swaha, Suryaya Idannamama, Prajapataye Swaha, Prajapataye Idannamama. And evening Agnaye Swaha. There is no meaning of this mantra if you want to discuss it. There may be a lot of meaning, may not be meaning, but basic idea is with the Udutyam Jata Vedasam Devam Vahanti Surya. When you say that, when the Surya comes up, sun comes up, we start seeing the whole world. God, does this world belong? Am I Swami of this world? Am I master of this world? No. I surrender to this God. So this is the meaning of this, construed meaning. So basic idea is that you surrender to that almighty power by calling Idannamo, it is not mine. Today, thousands of people all over the world in 65 countries, they perform Agnihotra, and there are a lot of beneficial effects they have found. They also found spiritual effects. That's the reason the one generation, second generations of various countries they are making cow dung cakes, and these are the various countries you can find them doing Agnihotra. Now there's some published studies. There's one Dr. Gulecha. He published a study in Agnihotra was found useful in treatment of resistant demotivated smack addict. One of our own officer's son was a brown sugar addict, and from army he was to be thrown out. And that time I just read some reports from Poland where they found that Agnihotra was very good for the brown sugar addicts. So I went and told my psychiatrist first. Then we also got this done on alcoholics, chronic alcoholics, who need to be admitted in the hospitals. And we found that alcoholism, there are so many treatments available, and the sort of relapse rate is almost 80%. But we found that with the Agnihotra treatment, those who continued Agnihotra, it was a negligible relapse, and even otherwise, we found that it was hardly about 30% relapse rate was there as compared to 80% in other forms. Again, it has an effect on environment. Environment concerns so many things, not necessarily the ingredients in the air and all. There are microbes, and it is a beneficial effect on the microbes. Whatever 2-3 experiments were done. One was petri dish was exposed before Agnihotra, and the colony count was about 400 colonies and more. After Agnihotra, it was reduced to about 40 or so. Then they did this experiment in the slum areas, where also they found similar results in 2 to 3 days. Then they did an experiment that maybe if you are because of fire and smoke, this is happening. So what they did, after 1 hour, after 2 hours, after 6 hours after Agnihotra, they kept petri dishes, and they found that the maximum effect they got after 6 hours. That tells us that it is not a physical thermal thing that is happening and eliminating these pathological bacteria colonies, but there's something beyond that is happening. Maybe some subtle energies are coming out of this pyramid pot, and these we are not been able to harness today. Someday they'll be harnessed. Somebody needs to do research on that. But definitely after 6 hours of Agnihotra, we found that the bacterial colonies disappeared or came to almost hardly about 30 to 20. Then this again, other experiment was done in DIPAS, Defense Institute of Physiological Research in Delhi, where a solution was made. Emulsion, you can call it. There can't be solution of ash. Emulsion was made, and 10% weight by volume. And then this was filtered, again autoclaved. And in this, known type of organisms like typhoid organisms, Pseudomonas, E. coli, by this diffusion method, it was found that the maximum area of clearance found about 10 to 12 millimeters was found around the colonies by this Agnihotra as compared to gentacine and other medicines. And that is what Selumurthy already has talked. These are the alpha activity increase at delta separation. Then bioenergy. They say electric field energies they found that increase in EMI studies. Psychotronics examination they are done and found that endorphin increases there. Yogic chakras. They found that Agnihotra initially helps you in basic chakra, and then you find that it can increase all the chakras. Kirlian photography studies are also available, where they found the blue aura is created from the red, and it calms the mind. It has an effect on agriculture. You see what happened in a pursuit to grow more. What has happened is we have been using chemical fertilizers, and these chemical fertilizers make this plant with a big sap, more sap, and when the sap is more, they fall into the disease. So we need herbicides, pesticides, and other things, and with that, we're eating poison. The time came when they found that this even the powder we use for killing the pesticides, even they're present in the mother's milk for no reason. Because if they go into the ground, then it comes to the crop, we eat that crop, the animals eat that grass, that it comes to via milk, and milk mother takes, and the innocent child born also has a DTT content much more than advised by WHO. They're the facts. Thanks God nowadays the DTT thing, that white thing is reduced, no more used. Then this is what just now I told. A lot of papers have been published. I just want to say that it's not only a oral talk or somebody's hearsay. We have done scientific studies by this method of Agnihotra and published these studies. Then environment. A lot of people. There are so many things to talk about environment, but in a mass Agnihotra, when it was observed, we have got a lab, recognized lab, and they have done analysis of ash. They found that iron, aluminum, calcium, magnesium, potassium was found. Yesterday, Dr. Sharma gave a brilliant talk, and he said anemia was better. And this is how we find that there's iron in the ash. Then the micronutrients and science of radiesthesia. In Poland, there are not many people are doing Agnihotra. And they found when Chernobyl radiation blast, it happened with the technique of pendulum science, they used to find out what is the actual radiation. And they found that whenever the ash, Agnihotra ash was mixed with the water and all, this was reduced. They also measured not only the radiesthesia, they measured this with the Geiger counter, and there also they found that this was reduced. Then BOD improves of water purification and all. There are a lot of papers published. Pranay Abang is going to talk further, and you'll listen from him. There's so much of work he has done. He has got a PhD on Agnihotra and atmosphere, this thing. Then what we did in 2-3 places, we found that the suspended particles about PM10 size, from 400 they came to 200, and PM 2.5 size from 350 they came to 250. It was done after 30 minutes after Agnihotra. Immediately, definitely there will be some suspended particles. After half an hour, things improve quite a lot. There's no change in benzene. Carbon monoxide, yes, there's no change. Sulfur dioxide, there's a change. Little change was there. It's a good sign, because sulfur dioxide is a very obnoxious thing that comes out. Not only Agnihotra, but anything you burn. And there are so many things apart from Agnihotra we burn. Agnihotra is a very small thing, we do it. Then oxygen content surprisingly increased. How it increased, why it increased, as a challenge to scientists, they should find out. This is a fact. And ammonia is, the smelly gas, whenever you go somewhere, that is reduced considerably more than half. And carbon dioxide also little bit decreased. You see, the beauty about carbon dioxide, yesterday also Dr. Sharma said, it is required. Agnihotra is prescribed at sunrise, sunset, and at sunrise, sunset, the plants change their metabolism. They breathe in carbon dioxide so that they can convert them into the food and all, so that's required. Even then it is reduced here. Then similarly, we found that yesterday it was told same. I want to support that it has effect on systolic blood pressure and random sugar also. There's a 20%, 25% less. Then it also has a real on pulse. Same, I'm supporting Dr. Sharma's findings. What was on an elaborate yajna, this could be also achieved by doing small. I won't say it is small, because once I was in Delhi, when Sadhu came, he was a very from Banaras. I told say chota sa yajna. Don't say that. Veda says is Rajantam Advarana. So I wouldn't make a mistake of small. Agnihotra reduces and the respiratory rate also this thing. So these are the findings supporting. Then agriculture, we need today pure food. Time has come to say that grow more food, grow pure food, and this is the need of the hour, because what we are eating, God knows what. This is how a simple experiment was done. A simple water without any manure or anything, and same thing except by dropping ash, Agnihotra ash, we found that the roots are multiple, their length increase. The Kirlian photography changed from anger to this one is on the water also. It inanimate objects also Agnihotra helps, and animate objects also it helps. I tell you small, if I got some time, sir, about 5-10 minutes. I tell you a small story of Sudama and Krishna.
Yes.
And when Sudama went to Krishna, he didn't carry pohas, he carried some rice, because that fellow used to do Agnihotra, morning, evening. In ancient time, every house they used to do Agnihotra, irrespective of the caste, creed and all. So Krishna ate it. Krishna symbolizes the God or the nature. And Sudama is the human being. So when he went back, with all richness and all, he asked, why it happened? This is beautifully explained in Chandogya Upanishad. Because what happened, Krishna said that when you give me 2 morsels to eat, you have fed the whole universe. Can it be possible? Metaphorically, yes. In Chandogya Upanishad it is said, Eteha kshudita bala mataram paryupasate evam sarvani bhutani agnihotram upasate. See the beauty, other than human species, no animal can go near the fire. We have that faculty of doing Agnihotra. They say the intensity the child calls mother to give and feed him, with the same intensity, Bhutamatra, all the inanimate objects in the universe, they are praying, let somebody do Agnihotra, you will be benefited. Then about radioactivity. They found that it is definitely, there is a suspended radioactivity in the atmosphere. What we call the basal radioactivity. That can be also harmful. That's the reason lot many cancers and all of this there. Agnihotra has a beneficial effect on this. How Agnihotra helps? When Agnihotra, we burn Agnihotra fire, and we do it at a physical level, I would call it, material level. Activated carbon particles, cow ghee, manure goes out, and when they go out, they chillate the various bacteria and contaminants in the atmosphere, and they fall as a manure on the foliage. It helps the plants. Then secondly, it also, because silica goes into the atmosphere, this absorbs radioactivity. Even today, the radioactivity radioactive materials, when they dispose it with the sand, because it has a silica in it. This is a water ash experiment was done, and what happens? Agnihotra, it lowers the pH of the soil or water, and it makes it sort of alkaline, so it's good for the growth of the plants. Secondly, it improves the soluble phosphates and nitrates into the soil. So when the plant germinates, it germinates faster. They have done studies in Coimbatore University where they found that the 100% germination, even after 1.5 years of seeds kept. Their study. This is a small booklet I had published long back on scientific aspects of Agnihotra through Shivapuri Akkalkot. These are the publications available. These are the various publications, and they are translated all languages of the world.